cool ways to do it. My favorite is actually by describing a little bit of a testimonial that has dollars and cents in it. So I'll give you an example. If someone tells me they're struggling because they've had lots and lots and lots of great conversations that didn't actually turn into sales calls, I'll relay a story to them of one of my favorite clients who had talked to like 41 people in a row. She was only able to get one person to a yes. It was a total mismatch. She discounted her prices. She felt terrible. And then we got on a call. We had our very first coaching call together, spent about 35, 40 minutes together, got her situated, figured out what was going on with her calls. The very next sales conversation she sold a $4,100 coaching package. And that was almost double what her rates were, and it was with absolute ease. And so what I just did in that little explanation was I gave you an example of how I've helped somebody. I gave you some results, and I talked about money so that they've heard a dollar before we get to the selling process. So
that's brilliant, and I want to make sure that everybody who's listening is really clear that you weren't talking about the cost of your program.
No.
You were just talking dollars, right? So very good. That's really good stuff.
And also, this is a really great hint. If for any reason what you sell and what you do doesn't help people create more money in their life, this technique works as long as you use some variation of a number. So for instance, if what you help people do is, leave their job after only 2 months, or help them get 20 more hours with their family, you can still use things that don't have an exact money amount. It's really about using numbers, and you may even want to equate that to money. So just have a knowledge that even if what you do doesn't help people create money, there's a way for you to incorporate this.
Right.
And then I have another little cool one that I love.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite thing to do. So when I go through my selling conversation, and that might be really cool, we can go through that next, is I explain my ways of working together. I have 3 in every sales conversation where I explain the 3 ways, and I don't say how much they cost. And then I ask somebody to really just connect in and tell me which of the 3 feels like a fit for them, because I don't want them to get a number stuck in their head and they think, well, I can only afford this, so this is the one I want, when in fact, different level of service is helpful to them. So I separate the 2. And then I also make sure that as I'm explaining my money, which happens next after they've told me, which one they really connect to, I go through them again and I say them at the highest price point at the top, middle price point, and lowest last, so that they have the ability to have a comparison. Because if you just say something's $10,000, to one person that's like a year's salary, freaking out, too big mode. To another person, that's like, chump change. And of course, here's $10,000, let's keep going. But you don't know what their comparison is if you don't have some container around it.
Correct. Very good. I love that. So we only have a couple of minutes before we go to break, but I want to not forget to say, so I'm going to say it at this very moment, because I don't think I said your website address yet. You guys can find Laura at Epic Sales. Epic at Sales, epicatsales.com. And so, Laura, give us just your best tip on the actual so that was really good stuff on closing a conversation, but it's that transition that people, I think, a lot of times have trouble with. So what advice do you have for people about the transition in the sales conversation?
Yeah, so just for the most part is allow yourself to really be connected to somebody. The person who you're talking with, they want to know that you hear them. They function almost. I do a lot of repeat work. I mirror the language that they're using, and I repeat that. And I shift my energy before I get on a call. I don't let myself go into a place of there's this part of the call and that part of the call. I really allow each part to just feel really relaxed and comfortable. And so if you can do that, again, by practice, it's a really simple thing. You just do it a lot and it's easy. But I think that when you can just feel confidence, I also like to really help my clients practice. So I suggest that they go and tell everybody that they know that's not a sales conversation what their packages are. so that they have the practice. Because you're right, you said something really early in the call about most people don't actually give the offer, and I think that's what happens. So if you're doing like 10 sales calls, you might, if you're not doing these techniques really well, you may only offer to 5 people. So it's no wonder that you don't feel as confident doing the second part of the conversation. So I just recommend that you make a commitment to yourself to always make an offer and to practice just your offer part offline, separate from the sales conversation.
Perfect. All right, fantastic. So do you have anything you want to share with everyone? Do you have a webinar or anything coming up, or a book?
I have something really, really awesome coming up. I'm doing a really cool, fun challenge. In fact, you can pop over to my Facebook page. It's, my Facebook group is Facebook, /epic@sales, where you can just find me, Laura Wright, on Facebook, and I'll IM and message with you. But I'm doing a really cool challenge because I found that a lot of folks have one or the other. They can bring a lot of leads in, but they don't know how to close them, or they are great at sales but have no leads coming in. So I'm doing a really cool 5-day challenge that starts on the 20th and completes on the 24th, where for 5 days I'm going to teach an outreach method and a way to drum up leads and get people as quickly as possible on into sales conversations. And then I'm going to do a live training where I teach people how to close on those very same sales calls. And that way, at any time that you ever need to, you don't have to worry about, do you have leads or calls? You can just go out there and create them pretty much on demand.
Sweet. I love it. All right. Well, Laura, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. This has just been a lot of fun. I love these conversations.
Me too. Well, thank you so much, Michele. I really, really appreciate it.
Very cool. So, guys, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back after a few commercial breaks.
Lauren Jono is an elite, international certified, high-performance coach, author, and speaker with over 15 years' experience helping clients transform so that they are living bolder, happier, and more successful lives. Through a combination of her world-class coaching program and exclusive assessments, her mission is to get to the crux of your issues quickly and accurately, and then guide you to achieve sustained and higher levels of clarity, joy, energy, connection, influence, and overall performance in every area of your life. To learn more or to contact Lauren, go to laurenjono.com.
Did you know that an estimated 52 million Americans listened to Internet radio in the last month? Or that weekly Internet radio audience has increased 60% over the last year? And that more than 8 in 10 people are online from any location? Tough Talk Radio Network is a company dedicated to providing a platform that allows opportunities for guests, hosts, and sponsors to market themselves to the Internet radio medium, where they can be heard by millions. To find out how Tough Talk Radio Network can help you, go to toughtalkradionetwork.com.
Working hard but not making money? Are you ready to finally start being paid what you are worth? Learn how business strategy coach Michele Scism and her clients are creating 6-plus-figure businesses. Check out Michele Scism's free video series where she reveals her step-by-step strategy for creating consistent cash flow in your business. You can learn more at highlypaidauthority.com.
And we are back. This has been a very fun show. I hope you guys are seeing that, sales doesn't have to be that daunting, thing you dread doing on a daily basis. Unfortunately, for some, it feels that way. But if we would just focus on a few things, and I think back to all the things we learned whether that was how we learned to do what it is that we do, all the times, all the lessons I learned in building businesses. What are you willing to put in the time to make work? And when it comes to your own business, remember what I said, without sales, there's no cash. Without cash, there's no business. Plain and simple. And so I want to encourage you to look at it as, it's that way of funding the things in life and the things in the changes in the world that you want to make, right, through the sales conversation. So we had 2 amazing guests today. First was Amy Walker, and I really enjoyed Amy's very strategic thought process when it comes to sales, and the fact that sales is truly a system, right? So when you have a sales system in place and you understand, what we talked about on the live stream on Friday was understanding the conversion, the sales system, right? It's knowing where things happen and what should be happening at that point and how do you move the person to the next level. All of those things, and that's what Amy was talking about, and you can learn more about Amy at amywalkerconsulting.com. Let me just make sure that I got that right. Yes, amywalkerconsulting.com. And then we were just on the phone with Laura Wright, and Laura is at epic@sales.com. And one of the things that I really, I took about 3 pages of notes with these two ladies, and one of the things that I was very focused on with Laura was the whole idea of getting relaxed and comfortable and confident. But then, man, she just kind of blew me away by saying, to start talk about numbers early in your conversation. So dropping those numbers makes people more comfortable when they hear numbers later, right? Because they're sitting there waiting. They feel like they know you're going to try to sell them or whatever that is. They're waiting for that number. And when you can do it early, it kind of takes the anxiousness out of that conversation. I can so see how that would be. Now, I want to remind you that, when it comes to having your sales system in place and your conversion strategies in place, we are redoing the 3-hour live stream tomorrow. And you don't have to be there for the whole 3 hours, but it was some really good stuff. I had some amazing guest speakers join us, and they were talking about the different strategies that they've put in place in their businesses as well to increase their sales. We had Valerie Hubbard, who was talking about how she does one-day events. She's getting ready to do her first 3-day, and she was doing a one-day event. She was doing about $2,000 when she did that one-day event, and then we did some tweaking on the conversion, on the conversation, the sales conversation, the offer, and she did $40,000 from her one day. And then we had Sandy Lawrence on there, who was talking about how to use webinars as a sales tool, right? So we created a conversion strategy for Sandy, a sales strategy for Sandy. When it came to her webinar, she launched her new product and was extremely successful. The webinar converted at about 13%, which is really high for a webinar, guys. If you don't know it, the average webinar converts anywhere from 8 to 10%. And then we had Jenna Rodriguez, who was talking about the speaking conversion. So how do you make sales from speaking? And who was our other? Oh, Debbie Elder. Debbie was on talking about, she has a mainstream business. She owns a school and an after-school homework program. And with a realignment of her sales conversation, we doubled the school's attendance for next year. That's big and exciting, extremely exciting. So I would love to have you join me for that and learn more about how you can implement some of these strategies. You can do that at decisiveminds.com/live stream. decisiveminds.com/live stream. And don't forget, my 3-day is coming. We're going to spend 3 days focused on these kind of things as well. You can find out more about that at legacyliveevent.com. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Go out and have a fantastic week. This is Michele Scism saying be decisive. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Take Action and Get Profits with Michele Scism, brought to you by the Tough Talk Radio Network. A special thanks to all of our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor or a guest, please go to toughtalkradionetwork.com.